Hello everybody, my name is Lucy and welcome to Books and Brushes. So today, I'm filming this just after I film my June wrap up. I don't know when I will get a chance to post this one, but it is June when I'm filming it, so it counts. I cannot believe we are over halfway through 2021. Where, how, why? I feel like it was a month ago we were going, oh my god, 2020 is finally over, yeah! And now 2021, over halfway. Does anyone feel like 2020 went by so slowly and then 2021 has been whee and it's gone? Probably doesn't help that I got a job in 2021, which has made time go a lot quicker than it probably did in 2020. Let me know if you felt a similar sensation. I'm curious if anyone feels like 2020 was 5 years and 2021 was a month. But now we are doing our mid-year freak out. I haven't done this since like 2018, yikes. But I really wanted to do a half of the year evaluation, and let's get into the question. So question number one, the best book you've read so far in 2021. This one was a tough one. It's always difficult to choose my favourite of anything, but I ended up with a list, top 4, because I feel that's reasonable. 4 out of 30. So my tops of the year are The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, the first of the Mistborn trilogy, The Henna Wars, which I read back in February, The Rule of Three by Eric Waters, which I read in March, and The Invisible Life of Adelie Rue by Victoria Schwab. All of those I thoroughly enjoyed for completely different reasons. We'll talk about how this year's favourites compared to last year's favourites at the end of the tag. Question 2, best sequel I've read in 2021. I have barely read any series, let alone sequels in 2021, which is really interesting. When I look at my list of all the books I've read in 2021 so far, they are all pretty much standalone, and most of them are contemporaries. Who am I? Who are you? I've read so many contemporaries and romances, I don't understand who I even am. So the best sequel I've read, and I think maybe the only sequel I have read, and that is The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson, the second book in the Mistborn trilogy. Although, to be fair, it was a very great sequel, so it may have got that spot even if I had read other series. Question 3, a new release I haven't read yet. Oh my god, there are so many. There are so many I'm thinking of in my head. You may be seeing a montage of them slide by me as we speak. These are all ones that I really want to get to, and by new release I mean 2020 or 2021. I want to read all of these that you're seeing right now. We'll see whenever I get to them. Question 4, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Again, I haven't really got an answer prepared for this one. I'm sorry. I thought I planned ahead and then realised my planning was only half baked apparently. Here are the second half of the year releases for 2021 that I really want to read in the second half of the year, or that I would like to get at some point in my life. Number 5, the biggest disappointment. There was a fair few I could pick here, but I've gone with A Very Very Bad Thing by Jeffrey Self because I hated this book. And if you've been on this channel from the beginning of 2021, you'll know this is the first book I read of the year, and it was the biggest disappointment. I hated it. I ranted about it. I've ranted about a lot of books this year, which is interesting. Question 6, the biggest surprise. So for this one, I picked This Time Will Be Different by Misa Seguria. It's because I don't usually tend to love romances, and I'd never heard of this author before. I just took a punt on this one pretty much, and it surprised me in so many ways that I loved it so much. Even though it was a romance, kind of hit all of the points for me, and I just really enjoyed it, and I expected nothing out of this book, so it was a great surprise. Number 7, favourite new author, debut or new to me. So I've gone with Misa Seguria because I've read 2 of her books now, and I really do love her writing and her characters, so she's definitely up there. Brandon Sanderson, I've only started reading him for the first time in 2021, and I've loved the books I've read from him so far, so he's on the list. And Abida Jagadar, I think is how you say, and I've read The Henna Wars, and I have another book by hers. What's it called? Something's Guide to Fake Dating. Hanny and Issues Guide to Fake Dating? It'll be right here. I can't wait to read that. These are the 3 authors that I've read for the first time this year, and I've really loved. Question 8, newest fictional crush. I don't really have any of those, and I don't tend to do that, so I've picked 3 of the best love interests from books I've read this year. I thought that was appropriate, and there's been a lot of love interests I've read this year since I've read a lot of romance. So the top 3, we've got Henry from The Invisible Life of Adelie Rue because I loved him. He was my favourite character of that book, and he's a sweetheart. I love him. Vaz from Harley in the Sky. Again, tippity top peak of patience and understanding. A great human being, honestly. I realised when I wrapped up this book back in May, I didn't talk about Vaz at all, and I feel really bad for that. I was so busy talking about the circus and Harley's internal struggle that I forgot to mention Vaz as a character, which is a real shame because he was such a great love interest. He's now getting that praise he deserves. And lastly, Jamie. Not Jamie from Yes, No, Maybe So. No. Although, to be fair, he's kind of cute. But I'm talking about Jamie from It's Not Like It's a Secret, which I literally just finished. Jamie Ramirez. Oh, she's a beaut. Definitely a great love interest. I really like her. She's kind of swoon worthy. Number 9, newest favourite character. This one was tough. But I'm gonna go with Claire from the Library of the Unwritten. I absolutely loved Claire as a character, and we respect her. I loved her wit, I loved her sarcasm, I loved her whole vibe. She was great, we love her. And also Vin, and there's another character from the Mistborn trilogy that I can't remember the name of, and it begins with S. I can't remember it. But those two, I really love Vin because she's a really interesting character, and I think she's kick-ass, and I absolutely love her. She's so real and cool, and I love her whole development. She's brilliant. And also the character I can't remember the name of, he is a totally different character, really interesting, nothing like a character I've ever read before. He's a different race, and also he's got this thing with religion and holding information, and he's just so noble and honourable and full of integrity. And there's something about that character that I just find so wholesome and intelligent and interesting, and I really love that character. It's really annoying I can't remember his name right now. Question 10, a book that made me cry. Again, upon reading this question, I've realised I haven't really cried at many books this year. I don't think I've been reading many cry-worthy books, which is very, very interesting again. But I've picked the two Mistborn books. The first and the second one, I cried at both of those, I'm pretty sure. And I think they're the only books I've cried at this year. The fantasy books, something about those. And also they're the ones that have more drama and dramatics and death and things like that going on. So it kind of makes sense. Maybe I need to read more books that are going to make me cry. Number 11, a book that makes me happy. There's a lot of books I could pick for this. Like some of the ones that were in my favourites list, like Hen and Wars, and there was a bunch of books that make me happy. But I've picked the Heartstopper volumes by Alice Oseman because me and Matthew have been reading those, and I've caught up to them fully now. Reading them just makes me happy in a way that very few other things kind of give me that fluffy, wholesome joy. And I don't usually like fluffy, but in this context, I really love the heartwarming, and I love the artwork. The artwork is so cute and sweet and visually appealing. It just makes me very, very happy to look at and to read. So Heartstopper. I think most people would agree that that's just a happy inducing read. Question 12, I really don't have enough fingers anymore. The most beautiful book I've bought or received so far this year. This one's an interesting one. So I've picked a few books so far this year that I've been given or that I've bought. Surrender Your Sons, beautiful cover. The Daughters of Mri, stunning cover. Perfect on paper. I love the colour of this cover and the illustration. It works for me. The Gilded Ones. This one might be the best one on the list actually, because look at it. I've loved this ever since this cover dropped. I love the colours of the background, that green, the portrait is just so beautiful. Do you understand? Witches Seeped in Gold is another one that, ooh, she good looking. And Hannah and Aishu's Guide to Fake Dating. This one, again, the illustration. I love the Henna Wars illustration as well, but this one is one I bought this year. So I really love that illustration style. That style is beautiful. Question 13, a book I need to read before the end of the year. Well, all of them. In particular, I have to get the Villain series from Victoria Schwab done. Surely I have to read Vicious and Vengeful, surely. All of the ones, again, I'll do a montage here of all the books I have that I really want to get to before the year is out, that I'm pretty confident I will get to before the year ends, but who actually knows? There's a lot. And question 14, favourite community member. Well, you already know the members of my BookTube community crew, the ones I love most, but we'll run them through. We got Matthew from Matthew Reads and Writes, Connor from Connor's Library Corner, Kaz from Cats and Camera, Jayla from Lala Loves Lit, and probably the newest addition, Leah. Become a great new friend to talk to on BookTube. So we love that growing little community of the golden ones, of the ones I love the most, because they're just brilliant. And you should watch all of their channels if you don't already. You probably already do, but that's my list. And so at the end of that, I kind of came to a few conclusions on how this year's going so far. First of all, I don't think I've had a good as reading year as I had last year, in quantity or quality, to be honest, but I'm talking mainly about quality at the moment. I've read a lot of contemporary and romance, which is definitely not like me, and I kind of think it shows because I haven't really had any books this year that I love. Favorite, you know, ones that are my favourite ever. Maybe we'll get some more at the end of the year. I haven't really read many series, fantasies or dystopians, the stuff I'm kind of known for, the stuff that I love the most. I haven't really read much of that this year, and I don't really know why. I think it's because I've been very slumpy this year, and I've been trying to read things that are quick and easy to get into and read because I haven't had the time to read as much. So I've been wanting to read a contemporary because it's quicker and it's easier to get through than a chonking fantasy. It's a little bit sad. Obviously contemporaries aren't bad, it's just they're not my favourite, and I've read pretty much all standalone contemporaries. So I want to try and read more fantasy towards the second half of 2021. Hopefully I can get out way more fantasy and dystopian, because we've got to pull up some of those stats. I've read loads of queer books, which is really great. That's probably the biggest positive. I've read a lot of queer, and we love that for me. Haven't really read any books that have made me cry, nothing super emotional. That's the goal for the second half of the year, is to really try and get back to some of the books that that I know I love, and maybe reread some of my old favourites. I haven't done a good reread of a favourite book in ages, so maybe I'll give that a try and see how that goes, because why not? You know, you gotta enjoy your life. So thanks very much for watching my mid-year freak out and my little wrap up of the first half of the year and how I think it's going. This is a tag that basically is an annual sort of thing. This one was created years ago. Do it if you want. You can say I tagged you. You really don't have to. I mean, I didn't get tagged this time. I just kind of wanted to do it. Haven't done it since 2018, so I just kind of fancied doing it again. Loads of people do this annually. It's a thing that you can just do. Although I will put the original creator in the description because duh, always do that. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Give it thumbs up. I rarely get those. Subscribe if you're not, although more importantly, just please don't unsubscribe. That's a problem I'm having after my last video. I hope you liked it. Please chat with me in the comments. How has the first half of the year been for you? Has it gone really quickly? Have you had a great reading year or not so much? Are you reading more or less of what you usually read? Please let me know in the comments and I will see you in my next video.